So then we are back with the more understandings from the time of the second tabernacle services, where we find the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Israelic lineage. So then we can understand the time of the end. As per YershiYAhu the prophet, we find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Mashiach laid waste from many centuries. As we read it in YershiYAhu the prophet, it's very important understanding sections related with the sons of Yishmael, the first son of Abraham, and why during the time of Joseph, when he was sold into slavery because of the brothers were jealous of him, and then he was sold into slavery in Egypt and sold by a caravan of the Ishmaelites. So then, tracing the situation, what today can expect as far as the economy, the organizations of the nations, and what truly has YershiYAhu shared regarding this particular understanding. Well, there is a section in YershiYAhu, the 62nd chapter, that relates the sons of Yishmael, and relates also on the 23rd with the recrowning of the golden turban. It's very important. Obviously the West, the culture is absolutely contrary of the East. That's why West does not understand the prophecies, because the prophecies did not come from the West, it came from the East. So then, when the YershiYAhu the prophet explains sections of his prophecies, he's explaining areas of the sons of Yishmael, or the relationship with Hagar and Abraham, or Ibrahim. But then comes a time during this period of restoration that YershiYAhu explains many sections that are linked with Daniel, the 11th chapter. And Daniel explains understandings of the influence of the sons of Yishmael and the brothers of the sons of Yishmael thronging each other during the time of the restoration period. Now, understandably, there is a reason why China linked up with the Arab world. It's a very important topic because the scriptures, they do make a link with the Arab world and the kingdom of the East. Mostly because the translation explaining, for instance, the word Egypt does not exist in Hebrew. The word is Mitzrayim. So it already shows a literary activity from many translations in the West trying to impose translations over the original manuscripts. Now, this in itself, unfortunately, renders the people with no understanding whatsoever of the structuring of these holy prophecies. Now then, 23rd chapter of YershiYAhu explains then an understanding of Tyre, an understanding regarding the ships of Kittim, and then obviously in the crowning of whose merchants are chief traders of the earth. And then YershiYAhu, then the leader of the hosts, a purposed stain of pride and contempt and honor of this particular system. So the very force doing this cleaning is YershiYAhu. Truly, then the merchants of the earth. So then the very focus point of the cleaning of the entire system starts with the merchants of the earth. He's not talking about kingdoms. YershiYAhu is not talking regarding kingdoms of the earth. The whole focus is then the merchants. And there is a link directly from the divine and the merchants. No kingdoms involved. The Hebrew language is very clear when it explains sections of the prophecies. So then, when you make a link, very importantly, directly with the divine, directly with the merchants, then we understand Galah, at least a portion of it. And then the freighters of the earth, and then the merchants of the earth. And then speaking of transporters, ships. So then, why the sons of Yishmael then are so important during this crowning, or then the restoring of the golden turban as per then YershiYAhu? Now, turban is used by the desert people. Tabernacling, for instance, does not use a turban. They use a veil, because it's an enclosed environment, such as tabernacling, the temple, first temple, second temple, and then maybe the third temple. Yeah, they use simply the veil, and they don't use turban. Turban is used by desert people. And these desert people were very prominent regarding then trade in caravans, camel caravans, and many kinds of caravans from many areas. So then the kingdom of China has a very bold plan of restoring lots of these caravan routes, known as the Silk Road. So then China, the most powerful kingdom trade-wise in this planet, is working in the entire world, helping them and gear them up, so then they understand when China begins its system, his second phase of this system, then the Silk Road is obviously refurbished. So then, the sons of Yishmael, for those people who have absolutely no clue, some people they never had a time to read, not even in translated language, because they simply don't take the time to study. During this time of electronic age, is video games and internet, and the scripture is obviously the most important, and people study the least, because confirms what then the Hamashiach ben Yosef explained regarding then the flesh. The Mashiach was giving choices. So then, the sons of Yishmael then explains Tarshish, and explain a few situations later on, after the direct link with the trade. Then you find YershiYAhu had then shaking the kingdoms. It's a very important prophecy, the 23rd chapter of YershiYAhu. So first, YershiYAhu deals with the merchants. Afterwards, then, because of these, then the nations are shaken. So he has decided, and he has used his own people from the relationship of Abraham and Hagar as the initiation point of this shaking in the entire world, where then China is linked up with the Arab world, Now, Egypt or Mitzrayim already explained in this particular prophecy, is already giving steps of formation. And then he comes, YershiYAhu, and explains each of them. Now, when the people don't spend time reading the scripture, then when they talk, it makes absolutely no sense. Then they do everything by force. Do this, do that, do the other, but you make an analysis of the situation, you understand the person is ignorant. That's why then the Arab world is preparing in helping China by reducing the price of crude, fuel. So this objective of cleaning the merchants is then done before our very eyes. So next time when we evaluate the situation from the enlightenment of the prophecies from the original manuscripts, you can then understand sections of Revelation and then sections of the world news. So please stay tuned. Much more coming up.